If you haven't read Hands by Unseen Wombat, you can listen to the radio play adaptation here and read along here. This analysis video contains spoilers. Furthermore, this video does not have an agenda. My agenda is only furthering the understanding of horror writing. Honestly, as long as there have been humans, there has been regret. As long as there have been adults to tell children about their regrets, there have been children to not heed their elders' advice. Regret is a strong motivator for artists and those seeking to express themselves. Making work about one's regrets, or out of frustration with one's regrets, is an easy way to be both expressive and prescriptive without compromising either. Usually, if an artist is preaching a message, their art is reduced to that message and nothing more, or the message is obfuscated by the descriptive and abstract parts of the art. That's because both political art and expressive art are lies, a lie to convince one of a belief and a lie to make one feel more human, respectively. But regret is born of a desire to make a more perfect world. It is a sad feeling, and oftentimes a humbling one as well. Regret is such a genuine thing, and those honest intentions come through in such a down-to-earth writing style, as we see with creepypasta. Hands doesn't tell you to do anything. It doesn't guilt you or shame its readers into a worldview, and its message isn't hard to divine when being analytical about its content. It's not presumptuous propaganda. Our narrator is not only not telling you to do or not do something, but is portraying those that impose those sorts of rules on others as less than moral. The description of a little school in Cleveland, Ohio, paints it like a prison or a sweatshop. He and his friends are captives in a place that only wants to load work upon them. All this narrator wanted at the time was to be worry-free and responsibility-free. The name-dropping of "dare" on his t-shirt isn't meaningless flavor text. While just a brief mention, it's pivotal that this program is brought up. DARE is Drug Abuse Resistance Education, a program that cops teach in public schools. You've probably seen the bumper stickers. Why does this author mention what the acronym stands for? For international readers. This context cannot be missed or skipped over. And while the UK has a DARE program and has since 1995, giant English-speaking countries like India and Australia wouldn't know what DARE is, and wouldn't have had citizens that underwent these programs. DARE has a terrible reputation among those that study the effects of its program in an academic setting, and among those that have been a part of them, such as myself. It doesn't take much research to find out about America's failed drug war and what part DARE has played in that war. The DARE program is consistent with the zero-tolerance orthodoxy of current U.S. drug control policy, which on a national level holds that drugs like heroin are on the same register of drugs as cannabis. I'd like to take this time to remind everyone I really do not have an agenda here. Continuing, children can sense bullshit more than adults give them credit for. So if a child is told that cannabis and heroin pose the same sorts of dangers, they'll either see right through this statement or question everything that DARE officers say, including accurate information about hard drugs. Or they'll believe all of it, try cannabis, not die from it, and question everything that they learned in DARE. DARE programs end in a graduation and a pledge. It goes something like this: take a stand against drug abuse. I know who I am, and I know that I want to stay healthy and happy. I can stand up for myself and stick to my decision to live a drug-free life. I can ask for support from my family, friends, teachers, and even the police. I pledge to say no to offers of drug use and alcohol. I can help others say no to drugs and alcohol. This pledge mixes common sense statements about support and help with a cult-like statement about decisions which are made for you. And let me tell you, it makes students uncomfortable, especially ones that are at a low risk of becoming addicted to illegal drugs. But the oppressive nature of school isn't the only unwanted pressure. Most teens know how full of shit adults can be. It's not a big surprise that those authority figures are assholes from the perspective of whiny teenage boys. The bigger pressure is peer pressure. The pressure from loved ones, friends, from those who never demand you do something in the same way a school or police would. And there is the biggest regret. Not only is our narrator subject to peer pressure, our narrator was peer pressure. This reciprocal peer pressure is why Mike, our victim tormented by the hands, is gone in this story. Not only did his group of friends pressure him into knocking himself out, but when given the chance to be proactive about Mike's fears, the perceived societal expectation that boys don't do sleepovers in high school ensured that Mike would face the dream world of children's hands alone. Those hands keep coming back. He only did our stand-in for drug use once, which is pass out via self-induced hypocamnia with the help of friends. But for whatever reason, he continued to experience vivid hallucinations, eventually ending in his disappearance. The experiences Mike was describing are more in line with the descriptions of psychedelic drugs like LSD, which in rare instances has been known to cause hallucination persisting perception disorder. This is the return of a drug's hallucinogenic features after its user has been drug-free for a long period. The crux of the story, the choking game, was for a time a very hot-button topic. Along with paint huffing, whippets, and cough syrup, the choking game is an idiotic way to get high on a budget. Here's a suggestion. Alcohol is easy to get your hands on, even when you're underage. Just saying. But this method of achieving an extremely short-lived and lackluster euphoria is a cause of regret for many that have witnessed it, if not out of loss, out of embarrassment. For our narrator, the regret is part of a complex survivor's guilt. Him and his friends faced questioning by the police, and the police perceived guilt on the part of these bratty teens, knowing that they knew something. The narrator looks endlessly for reasons why he could have survived. Could it be the injury to his head or the static in the air around the electrical lines? Could it be something that was on the other side, was desperate to pull Mike in, or maybe Mike was more at risk of being taken by some unknown force? All our narrator knows is that this information should be put out there to perhaps prevent another from feeling this kind of regret as well. This story, by not pressuring its readers into a worldview, is ironically more convincing of an anti-drug message than a DARE program ever could be. It's not a cold and heartless advertisement for a lifestyle, but rather an earnest and practical cautionary tale about how seemingly silly decisions can cause lifelong consequences. Now, I enjoy the rest of this footage, but I've got nothing else to say on the matter, so I'll let this ride out. If you have something to contribute, please leave a comment. And if you would like more content like this, consider subscribing